freaking first cut. Golly.
Welcome to the First Cut Podcast. I'm Rick Gehman, and this is your round 3 recap for this week's John Deere Classic. Joining me to break it all down, Patrick McDonald is here. Patty Ice. Hey, buddy.
What's going on? How's your holiday?
It was uneventful, which is kind of the way I like my holidays these days.
Okay, nice. Got all your fingers and everything still?
All 12.
Nice. Mine was good. I'm just getting back from the all-white party in the Hamptons.
I thought I saw you there in Michael Rubin.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was so crazy. I was hanging out with Joey B. That's what we call Joe Burrow. OBJ
Toby McGuire was there.
Yeah, Tobes was there as well. So a little under the weather, but excited to be with you, Rick.
Thanks, man. Well, hopefully we can have just as much fun here tonight as you did at that party, because we were having fun this morning. Jordan Spieth woke up the West Coast with a flurry of birdies. He was 6 under through his first 8 holes. He went out, Patrick, in 29, and he birdied 10. Sound the alarm. Alert, alert. Jordan Spieth is on 59 watch. It didn't really pan out that way. Bogey on 13. He only made 2 more birdies after that, but it was an 8 under 63 to give just the spark we need before we get to Lynx season.
He's dangling the carrot out in front of everyone. This is it's funny, but yeah, he finally started to hit some quality iron shots there, making a lot of putts as well. Made a number outside kind of that 10-foot range, but I looked to 2 shots in particular from this round. I think the wedge into 10 was awesome, almost holding it from the fairway. Landing it kind of in the first cut, spinning it back. But the long iron, kind of mid to long iron into number 9, which he did not pay off, hit maybe a foot from the hole. And that was a golf shot I had not seen from Jordan Spieth probably since Kapalua, maybe, that 3rd place finish. So in all of 2024. And so the iron play showing signs of life. It was decent it was good at the U.S. Open as well. So it's encouraging, obviously. And like you said, it's funny how a week or a stretch like this one for Jordan Spieth, you think the John Deere, the Scottish, and the Open could change the narrative around his season, because by all accounts, it has been an utter disaster. He has not been very good at golf this year.
Even with this run up the leaderboard, he's projected to finish this week 57th in the FedEx Cup standings, which is unacceptable if you are Jordan Spieth. It is funny that you mentioned the Tournament of Champions, because I didn't see his final strokes gained approach number. I think it was like 2.5 or so. And that would be his best since, I think it was round 1 of the century, and a feat that he did not accomplish at all in 2023. So this was one of the statistically best approach rounds for Jordan Spieth in the last 2 years.
And it comes at a very, very needed time. I think I wrote for the website earlier in the week that this 3-week stretch could define his season, to tell you the truth, right? If he wins the Scottish, a lot of the noise around him is washed out. If he contends at the Open Championship, all of it is washed out, right? Of it being his worst season since 2019. And so he's got 3 comfortable spots on the calendar. Obviously, he's played well at the Scottish Open and obviously the Open Championship and this week as well. So seeing him show signs of life, it's about damn time.
Ooh, it's about damn time. You get one more early wave guy who's not in the mix. Do you want JJ Spaun or do you want Ben Griffin?
Oh man, you spoil me, Rick. Let's go with JJ Spawn's kind of in the mix, isn't he?
JJ Spaun is kind of in the mix, thanks to a Saturday 65 in which he bookends this round with bogeys. 1 on 1, 1 on 18, but he strings together 8 birdies in the middle there to shoot that 65, his second 65 of the week. JJ Spaun thriving at a golf course that rewards playing out of the fairway, not necessarily a lot of power historically. And this would also be a big week for JJ, who's in at 16 under par, 5 shots off the lead, because he started the week 156th in the FedEx Cup standings. Now he will have status. I mean, he won last year. Was that last year?
2 years ago.
Oh, okay. Because J-Day won. He won Texas Open.
Yes.
And then J-Day won it. Wow. So 2 years since the win.
No, J-Day won the Byron Nelson.
Okay. Got it.
The winner of the Texas Open
was
last year was in 2024. The winner of the Texas Open in 2023 was a man who has won the Texas Open before. He has 2 wins. Yeah. Well, damn.
Well, I was in Texas at least with my other ideas, but JJ Spaun will enter the weekend 5 shots off.
I mean, honestly, outside of last week in Detroit, where he has finished inside, I think the top 20 in every Rocket Mortgage Classic, his season has been like tough to look at.
He does not have a top 25 outside of that Rocket Mortgage. So his best finish was T26. And dare I tell you, that was the Myrtle Beach Classic, which I'm sure was the weakest field of the year.
10 missed cuts and 16 starts as well. So not collecting a ton of money. I'm looking at his profile though. The iron play actually hasn't been like horrible. And then recently, I guess the short game's beginning to come around. Finally putted a little bit last week. So yeah, like you said, it's a big week for him. And I think a nice little added layer tomorrow is 2 spots being on the line for the Open. So I think only Eric Cole towards the top of the leaderboard is qualified for the Open right now. So outside of that trophy, still a lot to play for too. And someone like Spaun could sneak in there.
Still a lot to play for indeed. They're going to go out in threesomes off split tees early to try to avoid a storm on Sunday afternoon. That is going to be an important thing to remember when we start talking about the guys at the top and in the mix. We are going to have that conversation after a quick word from our partners.
At CBS Sports Golazo Network, we're bringing you the game.
Madness of Messi arrives!
Breaking down the game.
This is unlike anything else in the world.
And changing the game.
Get it all for nil.
That means free.
Whoa.
And all day long!
24/7.
And we're back. I'm going to save the final group. And I'm going to give you a couple of youngsters to start with here because both of them are in at 16 under par. Michael Thorbjornsen, 5 under 66 to get there. Luke Clanton, 4 under 67 to get there. Get used to these names, Patrick, because we will be saying them a lot. Michael Thorbjornsen probably more in the near future because he actually has a PGA Tour card. Luke Clanton's still in college.
Yeah, and I mean, Clanton, it was kind of, I don't want to say volatile day, but he certainly did not have his putter cooperating for him. And it's pretty crazy. I think, well, he has a couple things going for him. I think the main one here is just like these styles of golf courses and just golf tournaments, how they, the cadence of them, of you just needing to fire at every single pin. Like that is prime for a youngster with no fear in a ton of game. And oh, guess what? His deficiency, if you want to call it that, is his short game. Well, guess what? You're going to have to pretty much hit 18 greens in regulation out here to contend. And so it's ripe for it. And I guess that's why it makes a lot of sense that something like TPC run, you have a Jordan Spieth at 19, you have a Bryson DeChambeau at 20, and you could have a Luke Clanton at I believe he's 20 as well, rising junior. Yeah, you turn 21.
Both those guys, 5 shots off the pace. Yeah, most usually turn 21 their junior year, right?
Yeah.
Something of that nature. But both are stellar. Now, let's start heading up that leaderboard. A pair at 17 under. They are 4 shots off the lead. We'll go with CT Pan, who shot a 68, made bogey on his final hole of the day. He only made 4 birdies otherwise. No momentum in this round. He did not make back-to-back birdies. He actually made 4 birdies about as far as you can spread out birdies on a card. He made them on 1, 6, 10, and 17. That's about as far away from each other as you could get.
That's pretty funny. Yeah, boring's a good way to put it. He hit 16 greens in regulation, which I mean, and even that final approach into 18, which he didn't pay off when he had to chip out from the fairway, he hit it to about 5 feet as well. So the iron play was in a really good spot, but just didn't really seem to make anything. Nice putt on 1, nice putt on 6, those spread out birdies. But outside that, just a bit of a boring day on the greens, a ton of 2 putts, and then a couple missed greens on the back. He got up and down once, but I think it's I mean, he didn't play himself out of this golf tournament, but he doesn't have a lot of room for a lot of wiggle room moving forward.
He's going to need something special. He might need a little bit of help. Same probably goes for Hayden Springer, who's had himself a week. Opened up on Thursday with a 59, followed that up 12 shots worse, 71, and then he bounces back with a 66 on Saturday. But even this 66, Patrick, was all over the yard. He eagles 2, birdies 6, bogeys both 7 and 8 to make the turn in 1 under. Then he rattles off 4 birdies in his next 5 holes, gives one back on 15, and then takes advantage of the par 5 17th. So he is putting a lot of circles on the scorecard this week. He is another guy who has 0 PGA Tour victories, a lot to play for in the FedEx Cup standings. I believe he is probably too far back to win this golf tournament, but there is a lot of money on the line, and there's a lot of things that he can earn on Sunday.
Yeah, 127 in the FedEx Cup coming into the week. So getting inside that top 125 is huge for someone like him, especially a guy who came through Q school this season, PGA Tour rookie. I think a lot of people know his story. Coming off, it's weird. It's like everyone who contended last week, Rick, is kind of just they're running back the same tournament, it feels like. And T10 last week, T3 in Puerto Rico as well. But outside that, a lot of missed cuts. I think he missed 7 in a row to end his spring and to start his summer. But bit of a psycho scorecard today. I agree with you. I just I don't have a ton of. I know he shot 59 on Thursday. I don't really have a ton of faith in him to post like a 62 tomorrow.
I told Kyle on Friday before Hayden Springer had even teed off and he had shot a 59, and I said he has 0 chance of winning this golf tournament. I basically still stand by that, even though 3 guys ahead. And those 3, Patrick, oh boy. So we've got 3 guys in the final group who will be going off early together with a combined, let me count, 0 PGA Tour victories. Going to be a lot of anxiety, a little bit of nerves on that first.
Sweaty palms.
Sweaty palms, indeed. Bring your double gloves like Aaron Rye will. A 5 under 66 for Aaron Rye, who I described as weathered the storm on Saturday because he got off to a good start. 3 birdies in his first 4 and then really nothing for the next 8 holes or so. He plays those at 1 over while everyone around him is going nuts. He's able to get 3 birdies late. He is 2 shots off the lead going into his final 18. And just like you said, very reminiscent of last week. He's figured out the putter and now he's quite dangerous.
Quite dangerous indeed. Double gloved, pulling DOD down the stretch in golf tournaments. Prime serial killer behavior, Rick, if I have to say so. I will say I was a little nervous for him after his putt on number 2. Just laced the high one in there, 5 feet for eagle, and then he kind of like farted one over there. Not a good stroke.
I was very nervous about that. It was about the worst 5-foot eagle putt I've ever seen.
Yeah, and I was like,
birdie though.
I was like, this might be like last Sunday, but just a day earlier type of situation. And the putter might abandon him. All that good work he's doing, but made a ton of really nice ones. I mean, the one on 18, the down the line cam was a beauty, and we obviously know what this guy can do from tee to green. So he mentioned how the experience from last Sunday, he felt like he learned a ton. And this is someone who's won a Rolex event. He contended at the BMW PGA on the DP World Tour. So I'm very interested to see what he learned and if he can apply it tomorrow.
Eric Cole is also in at 19 under par, thanks to a 7 under 64, highlighted by the eagle that he made on 17. And in fact, Patrick, he came in 31. That is 5 under. Eric Cole has emerged from the depths, rising up like a phoenix. The last 2 weeks have been by far, in my opinion, the best 2 weeks we've seen from him in all of 2024.
Yeah, his 2024 outside the last 2 weeks have been kind of a disaster. The last top 10 was Riviera, I believe, before Detroit, but he's finding his game when he needs it the most. I think I heard on the broadcast that he's taken 3 weeks off this year. I did not double check that, but that sounds like Looney Tunes to me, Rick.
I can't see the dates on that. Hold on, I'll have to move it to my other screen. 3 weeks off. So here's okay. So
it's his 24th event this week.
All right. Well, starting. Okay. So he took 2 weeks off from, or I guess he took a week off from Riv. Then he played 1, 2, 3, 4 in a row. Then he played 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, that actually does check out.
It's insane.
That does check out.
That is unbelievable. He's just a guy who loves to play golf. Like the stories last year of him just teeing it up in the minor league golf in the mini circuit still.
He like finished second at the Honda or something. No, it was probably later in the year than that, because he was like, he did not need to. He went back and played some mini tour event, smoked everybody, won the like $2,000, and then donated it back to the purse or something like that.
I love it. Great round. I mean, it felt like he was kind of holding on for dear life there for most of it. Just didn't feel like he was doing a lot during that front 9, and then he got hot in spurts, right? Around the turn, birdie, 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 and then the finish was huge. Without that finish, I mean, he's probably 4 back, right? But he eagles the par 5 after making birdie on the 16th, and gives himself a really good chance for the first win, just like everyone else on the leaderboard, it seems.
Well, the man they all chase, 2 shots clear, sitting at 21 under par, thanks to the round of the day. That should be like a drop, like round of the day, round of the day. I don't know, something like that. 62, and it was splendid. It was clean. It was bogey free. 3 birdies in a row from 12, 13, and 14. A pair of birdies on 1, 2, also on 5 and 6. It is Davis Thompson looking as well as everyone else for his first win on the circuit.
It's been very easy for him, it looks like. Like more than anyone else in the field right now. He looks in complete control when he's in trouble. I mean, he misses the green on the par 4 5th. Oh, what do you know? Holes it from the bunker. His reaction is kind of just like gives his caddy a weak high five. 17, he's in trouble, misses left, decides to go left out of the trees. Oh, let me just hit a sand wedge to 8 feet over the trees, make birdie that way. And so I think the key for him and kind of where he's going to be able to differentiate himself, at least from someone like Eric Cole, is with the driver. He just seems a lot more steady than someone like Cole. If Cole has a great driving day tomorrow, I think he'll give it a really good chance just because the iron play looks good and he can make a ton of putts. But Thompson, it just seems like he's always in A1, right? Prime position in the fairway outside of 17. So, yeah, I mean, this is a kid who it's wild to think that 4 years ago he was the amateur leading the U.S. Open at Winged Foot. Remember that?
I do.
And he's looked pretty comfortable in these spots, played alongside or maybe the group in front of John Rahm at the American Express. The pin was in on the 71st hole. Remember that? Kept his ball out.
No,
Do you remember that?
I don't remember that.
Yeah, on the par 3, what do they call it? Carlos Alcaraz Island.
Yes, that's exactly what they call it. Carlos Alcaraz Island. Yeah.
Yeah, and he had like a 70-foot birdie putt or something, and he kept the pin in, and
Oh,
it ricocheted off.
I think I remember that, but I do not associate that at all with Davis Thompson. I didn't remember who that, but I do remember thinking, wow, that's like the first time the pin has rejected one.
Yeah, and he lost by 1. So asterisk next to that one for John Rahm.
Obviously.
Kidding. But he played great last week in the final round too. He almost, 20 feet on 18 to what would have forced a playoff with Cam Davis. Played great coming down the stretch. So top amateur in the world at one point, contended major champions. He's done everything. And it seems like this one, Rick, could just be the first of like many.
He's gaining at least 2.5 strokes this week in all 4 major categories, well-rounded. And there are lots of implications on this Sunday for all of us here, Patrick. You and Kyle have Aaron Rai over Jordan Spieth, which got a lot sweatier on this Saturday, but I think you're still probably okay. Greg and Kyle have Aaron Rai on their outrights. I have Davis Thompson. You have you have Denny McCarthy. Who,
dude.
That was such a weak Saturday.
I need to address 2 people in this field, and it is Denny McCarthy, which I hate to say, just like you said, weak, soft. And you know who's really been grinding my gears lately? And for his level of quality and how good he is and what people perceive him as is Sung J M.
I know.
Like, he has not won in 3 years. I don't want this solo shot. I don't want this solo shot.
Solo him. Solo him.
Turn off those lights. Turn off those lights.
Anti-Sung J Ram.
But for someone who we perceive as like this guy, one of the great young players, it's been 3 years since he's won on the PGA Tour. And if we criticize others who have not been able to get it done, we have to throw Sung J M in that mix and talk about another week Saturday. He carded a 7 on 17. That's hard to do.
Yeah, he had one of the, he was under par, but it was still like one of the bottom, 15 rounds of the day, something like that. And he's probably the best player in the field, or I think, like you said, is perceived as it.
100%.
The pre-tournament favorite in some spots. Him, Jordan Spieth, kind of depends on where you look, but yeah, that's both of those guys I was very disappointed in.
Yeah, Denny, and honestly, like I hate to throw this guy under the bus too, but a little disappointed with Andrew Novak, but that's just because I bet on him.
When I looked, he was like, what happened at the end of his round? Because he was vibing.
Oh yeah, he got to 15. Then he made a bogey on the par 3 12th, I think. And then he just missed a ton of 8-footers.
Yeah, and he made another bogey. So he bogeyed both par 3s on the back and missed a lot because he was 5 under through 10. That's what I saw.
Yeah. And then turn off those lights. Turn off those lights. They're too bright.
Aaron Rai for Greg, myself, and Kyle in the one and done. So lots of Sunday implications. Let's see what Vegas has to say, Josh. What does Vegas have to say? Not Johnny Vegas, the city of Las Vegas. And oh boy, it's Davis Thompson versus the field. Right at or close to even money. Plus 105 for Davis Thompson. Aaron Rai, 3-1. Eric Cole, 4.5. Then a huge gap. CT Pan at 28. Hayden Springer, 30. Luke Clanton on the board at 31. Michael Thorbjornsen, 45. And JJ Spaun is 60. So if I can read between the tea leaves here from our friends in Southern Nevada, the winner's coming out of the final group.
I would concur. How far back was Straka last year when he shot 62? And who was even in that final? Was that like Alex Smalley?
Oh boy.
Who else was in that?
No clue.
How far back is too far back? Probably 4, right? 6. Do you want to go 5?
So if you're 4 back, if you're at 17 under, and
You got to shoot 63 minimum.
just get
It feels
20.
it feels like Thomas's floor is like a 67 out there, right?
I don't like anybody at 17 under. Unless these three look around and start vomiting all over themselves.
Which there's a chance that could happen.
Like
I doubt it does, but
they bring the
can't rule
trophy
it
out.
out.
They bring the trophy out to the first tee, right? And they all touch it before they tee off. I just don't see how, barring 3 disasters, somebody from 7, because it's not like Jordan Spieth or Sung J M is sitting at 17 under.
Yeah, Jordan Spieth would have to shoot probably 60.
CT Pan, Hayden Springer. I know it's kind of Hayden Springer who shot a 59 this week. I'm like, he can't go low. He cannot go low.
The spring roll.
I just would find it very difficult to believe that one of those 3 does not hoist said trophy.
I think Davis Thompson's going to win.
I think he is too. I really like Aaron Rodgers. Like I think that last week was big. I think he stays on his routine. I was telling Kyle about this earlier. Like he just does the same thing every single time. And I don't think he gets flustered. He just has a very good routine and he goes through it. But I believe Davis Thompson's the best player out here and he's got a 2-shot lead.
Aaron Rye kind of this comparison is going to make absolutely 0 sense, but he kind of reminds me of a model on a runway. Like he's just,
dude, I think he should be the next James Bond.
Oh, okay.
Or James Bond villain. I'm like scared of the guy. Like he is so cool. I think I'm not sure I've ever heard him speak. And he mostly always wears all black and he's got the double gloves on. So he's ready to commit crimes. I think he's awesome. I'm scared of him.
Are you concerned that maybe he won't be able to put his fingerprints on this tournament?
I'm concerned he won't be able to put his fingerprints on anything. Yeah.
Do you think it would be pretty funny if the trophy ceremony, the guy who hands him the trophy has gloves on, which I don't think is the case, and then he accepts it with gloves on as well?
So like if it was the Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
Oh. I do hope I don't think it is. I think but if it was one of those chrome trophies or whatever, that it gets very fingerprinty.
Yeah. Like the FedEx Cup.
Yeah, but it's not.
So hopefully he can win that later.
That would be like 1,000 to 1 Aaron Rye wins the FedEx Cup, right?
Well, that's what I'm saving him for.
Anything else, Patrick?
I don't think so, man. How did I know there's some chatter in the group chat. How'd the hot dog eating contest go? How's the handicapping there?
About as good as you'd expect for somebody. Somebody spent 5 whole minutes on it. No, you know what? I thought I got a little bit. I thought both Jeff Esper and James, I can't remember his name now. James.
Han?
No. I keep wanting to say James Woods, but that's not right. That's another guy. James Webb.
Okay.
Because it's the same name
James Wood
as the telescope. I thought the guy who won was letting a lot of debris come flying out of the mouth. Very sloppy. And when you have the 2 favorites who finish within 1 dog of each other, and this long shot who wins by 5 or 6 dogs, that's a Rosie Ruiz situation. Okay. Let me just tell you that right.
Smells a little bit, huh?
Uh-huh. A little smelly, if you ask me. And then he is just like, I can't tell what's dog, what's being eaten, what's being smashed, where it's going. Listen, we need stern and steadfast and composed judges down there in the splash zone, making sure all that's going down.
I did see the splash zone got a lot of action from one guy.
Dude, it's nasty. It's so
and the guy next to him was just like with his belts, like
I can't. I don't even know if I can watch it anymore, man. It's like
Uh,
the older I get, the harder it is to watch the hot dog eating contest.
we I mean, the golden day of golf was when you could call in for a rules violation. And since they probably won't bring that back, which they should not, although it was awesome. It's like, oh my God, Stuart Appleby, he just teed off in front of the tee marker on number 13. How'd you guys not catch that?
Yeah, so I'm gonna try to call Nathan and see if I
Mhm.
can get a word with him.
Yes. I think we got to fly you up there next time. Get you in the splash zone.
I will do well. Okay, if somebody pays for me to get up there and can get me in the splash zone, I'll go in the splash zone. I'll do pre-tournament. We'll do live from Coney Island.
HQ hits.
HQ hits from Coney Island. I will wear a poncho. For sure.
All right. We got a year to work it out.
Yeah, same day every year. Okay. Big thanks to producer Josh, who does all the hard work behind the scenes. We will be back on Sunday night to break it all down and find out who the champion of the John Deere Classic is. Big thanks to Patrick McDonald. You can find him on Twitter at PMcDonaldCBS, and you can find me at Rick Run Good. This has been The First Cut. We'll catch you next time.